Hello world, welcome back to my channel. My name's Paul. We're in Narrogin, staying at the Narrogin and Motel. I'll show you around, but for now, let's roll the intro. And this is where we're staying, the Narrogin Motel. Narrogin's a wheat belt town, not too far from where my mum was brought up. You can see all the smoke laying from everyone having their fires going. It's about 7 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but for us it's cold. And this is where I'm getting my morning coffee. Delicious. Established 1978 is the name. I had to ask them, well, what's the name? And they said that is the name. So, established 1978. We didn't check it out. Look here, guys. What a beautiful, beautiful old town. Sorry, I've got to put my glasses back on. Someone mentioned this to me. When I said I was coming here, someone mentioned to me all these empty shops. It's the sad part of the Australian farming now, is all these thriving towns and all the ones. Should have mentioned this before, because all those towns that we've been to, nothing like they were when I was a kid. It's just a sad fact of life with Coles and the big supermarket chains and everything. All these little shops find it hard to keep up. Oh well, that's my rant for now. We had the most delicious breakfast. It was yummy. Janet had smashed avo. I had my go-to eggs Benedict, but we'll make the code word 1978. Hey guys, if you remember in the Williams video we went to the Dryandra Reserve. I showed you out there. Well, Narrogin's still in the Dryandra district. So this is the Dryandra Country Visitors Centre, and we'll make the code word for here the same as all the visitors centres. And this is the old courthouse museum. It's a bit confusing. It's called the Courthouse Museum. It was originally the old school. I've been in there before. It's great, and it's supposed to be open, but for some reason they're shut early today. But that's all right. They must have been bored. There was no one in here. But guys, this is worth having a look. I've come here many, many times during my life. And we'll make the code word museum. And as you know, I pick Janet up from work when we come on these trips on a Friday afternoon. And she packs before she goes to work, leaves everything by the door. I forgot one bag, but it happened to be the bag with all the clothes in. So that's given her an excuse to go shopping. And apparently she's found some clothes for me. Whoops, she's over there giving me dirty looks. So I have to go shopping as well, guys. Yes, I know. And this is the Fox's Lair Nature Reserve. There's heaps of walks you can do from here, but I've got heaps to film today. I'd like to walk up the granite rock. We'll drive up there and have a look, but absolutely beautiful. All sorts of birds and animals to be seen in here. And it's right on the outskirts of town. And that little piece of paper on the table there, someone's put a little thing for kids about how these rocks were formed, and on the other side's the answer. Just, yeah, what a friendly, happy place. I say that a lot, but it really surprises me. I've been to all these towns so many times, but I've never really got involved as much as I have since I had the camera. I'm sharing all this with you has made me see things in a whole different light. So it's really, this is as much fun for me as it is for you guys, believe me. And these are the old clay pits. Still at the Fox's Lair, just a little bit further up the track. And This would have been where they got all the clay for the original buildings in town. And I'll show you a few of those old buildings. It's just old stone, like these stones here. And put together with it, I'm guessing it's this clay. So we'll go a bit further up the road. And we're still at the Fox's Lair. This is the Granite Walk Arboretum, and like I told you in the Williams video when we were out at the Dryandra Reserve, an arboretum is where trees are protected, and this is still all part of the Fox's Lair. There's two walks you can do here. One's about 1 kilometre, the other one's a bit longer. We'll make the code word for this whole area Fox, F-O-X. And I'm on the pedestrian bridge over the old railway station. Bit sad really, what a beautiful old building. It's kind of a mix between the Mount Barker one and the Wagen one. Obviously the train tracks are still being used, but the station not. Now, there was a time when, in my life, when Railway had the monopoly on wheat carting. You weren't allowed to contract wheat cart. If it was your own truck you were allowed to, but you weren't allowed to bring contractors in. Everything had to go on rail. Then it was quite a thriving business, but nowadays I think that's illegal. So all these beautiful old stations, but you can see with the railings and things on there and the scaffolding, I think they might be doing it up. I hope so, because it really is beautiful old building. And look at this beautiful old building. For barristers and solicitors now, and I imagine it was something like that in its day. It's that sort of building. I've normally got a plaque on them, guys. That's where I get all my information about these buildings. There's usually a little brass plaque somewhere telling you all about it. But I'm guessing this would be the mid-1800s. Got the old pub here. Just beautiful, really. And if you look across the road there, the old railings on the roof there, this in its day was a very, very rich wheat and sheep town. Now in a couple of videos, the Narrogin one and a couple of others, I've shown you the old railway dams where in the steam train days they had to have water for the steam trains. This is one. This one was started building in 1906. Then in the 50s it was a migrant camp because a lot of people came from Eastern Europe, Italy and Germany, but mostly Eastern Europe, to help build the West Australian Railways. And WAGR it was called, the West Australian Government Railways. These days it's a free parking for caravans. You've got to have self-contained vans, like I've said in many videos. Only 10 at a time, no fires, and there's nowhere to dump your wastewater. But you can come here and park for 72 hours for free. This is at the turn off to the railway dam. It's town right there, so it's just on the southern edge of town. But they've got all this old farm equipment. This is the main road, so I'm guessing it must be road building equipment. And now I'm probably wrong here, but see the guy's got a seat here and the little handle, so I'm guessing all this is horse drawn. Really quite amazing. And we'll give this one a code word. Road. Now, this is the Vintage Museum, guys, the Narrogin Restoration Group. Sadly, it's only open the first Saturday of every month, so if you're into this sort of thing, try and time your trip here. There's been a lot of time and effort put into all these machines in the shed, but you've got the example of the old steam tractor here, and this is the one they leave outside, so you can imagine what's inside. Very worth, and we'll give this one a code word, vintage. Now, I was on my way out to Yellowminning Rock where I saw a sign to the George Brockway tree. Now, George Brockway's known as the forgotten conservationist, but in the last couple of years his name's become a lot more well known. Now, he was in 1922, he was the head of forestry for the Mundaring Weir, and it was his job to control bushfires and all those sort of things. And then he moved to Kalgoorlie and he saw the the destruction of the bush. So he set up all these conservation areas around Kalgoorlie, and he ended up setting up conservation areas all around the southern Western Australia. And as I said, nobody knew who he was until the West Australian government decided to dedicate this beautiful salmon gum to him, and more people are learning about it. Can you hear all the birds? Beautiful. I was hitchhiking near Byron Bay in New South Wales once, many years ago, early 20s, so a lifetime ago, but I got picked up by two English women, and one of them was deaf, and she told me in sign language that the other girl translated. Of course, I don't understand sign language, but she said, in England you look up and you see grey, but when in Australia you look up and you see colour. And she was talking about the birds. Amazing. Can you hear that? Guys, we're 2.5 hours out of the city. Please watch my movies, but don't just watch my movies, come and see all this. Just amazing. And we'll make the code word tree. And now we're at Yellowminning Rock. This was first recorded by Westerners, Europeans, by Lord Forrest, who became the first Premier of WA. Remember, we stayed at the Lord Forrest Hotel in Bunbury. It's Yellowminning Rock, which is the local Aboriginal word, but there's never been a recorded meaning for what that means. So nobody knows what it was, but as usual, whenever I come to one of these places, I want to thank the local people for sharing these amazing sites with us. Let's head to the top, and here I am at the top. Pretty easy walk, unless you're as unfit as I am. Isn't this just gorgeous? But I can't do it justice with this lens on, so I'll put the drone up and see it properly. And a little warning to everyone. Now, this was a pretty easy rock, but I've spent that much time walking around in the bush, mineral exploration, and I always taught people that were new, watch your landmarks. Now, I went to completely the wrong spot. Now, where my car is over here. Luckily, the spot I went to was over there, but you've got to judge your landmarks and trust that judgment, because as I was coming down the hill over there, I knew the puddles were different. I knew something wasn't right. You've got to trust that. This could have been a lot worse if this wasn't such an easy walk. And we'll make the code word rock. And this is the lookout above town, looking down on everything. Beautiful little spot. In summer, remember at Pingelly I was saying how yellow everything was and how it had changed in winter. Look at this, guys. Absolutely beautiful. Now, there was an old church I saw when I was driving around that was made of the stone and clay that I was telling you about at the clay pits. The museum earlier on was made out of the same style, but I couldn't find that church to show you again. But this is the old Newton, what's left of the Newton family homestead, one of the original homesteads in the area, and they've kept this as a barbecue, but this is all original. This is the rock and the clay, well, what's clay with mortar, I'm guessing. But they use this as an old barbecue. This is the middle of town. It's town right there. Little picnic table here. But yes, but this is the architecture that I was talking about. I don't know if you can hear me, guys. It's a bit noisy here. But we're at the local Narrogin motocross track. Look at these kids. Crazy. But as you can see, I've got the vest on. I'm official media for the day. I'm going to go and do this. So I bumped into Dale, he's the vice president of the club. Why don't you tell us how all this got started?
Well, the track's actually been here since about 1966 when it first started. We've had around about early 90s, and then Benji's had it for 20 years, the Benji's Motocross Club. Recently got back last year, and very beginner to even to the pro level. And yeah, I think every race meeting we have, we're improving the track and improving the facilities.
It does seem like everyone's having a lot of fun, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. The feedback's been great. And it's just it's another thing for the town, for the kids. They're probably the main reason that we've got the track is to give them somewhere to ride.
Excellent, mate. Thank you very much.
No
Oh,
problem.
I'll fist bump you the time of year it is, but thank you. The plan was to just be here for an hour, get a little bit of footage, but it's like 2.5, nearly 3 hours now. I don't think there can be any other code word for here but yeehaw. And now check out these little kids, they're insane. About maybe 10 k's out of Narrogin on the way to Pingelly. We're going home a different way. Remember Pingelly from the Pingelly video? Look at the Cabelling pub. Isn't this beautiful? 1912. We're going to go in and have some lunch. Well, that was another great weekend. Had an incredible lunch at Cabelling, guys. If you're in the area, I really advise you to come here and eat. It was incredible. We're going to drive home now, head through Pingelly. If you don't know what all the code words are for, guys, I'll leave a link up here to the video that describes how you can win a Mavic mini drone. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the Mad Dog icon up there or the subscribe button down below. Give me a big thumbs up. We'll see you in the next one.